And here tonight, we have more on the breaking news we first told you about during our 6:30 news earlier this evening. Hope in the devastation of the catastrophic Western Kentucky tornado. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt, the head of the flattened candle factory in Mayfield, Kentucky. In an interview only with WHAS 11 News tonight, says that a majority of the 110 workers who were inside have survived and are not dead. In fact, you are looking at new drone video of that factory from earlier today, sunup on this Sunday. We have team coverage. Shay McAllister has more on this major development and her interview with the CEO of the candle factory. Matthew Torres is covering survivors who tell us they're stunned they are alive. And Grace McKenna is in Bowling Green covering Western Kentucky University. But first, here's Shay McAllister with more on the candle factory.
New information being released by the factory spokesperson would be the miracle everyone was hoping for.
Let's turn our attention now to Bowling Green. Our crews are there as well. Thousands are still without power. 12 people lost their lives in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The city, as you know, is home to Western Kentucky University, where many Louisville families send their students yearly. Grace McKenna is in Bowling Green talking to one student who watched the tornado forever change the place she's called home for 4 years.
Near the WKU campus, roads are reopened today. That's not the case throughout the rest of Bowling Green.
At least 70 people are dead after a series of storms swept through western and central Kentucky last night, devastating towns and cities in its path. Good evening. I'm Kristen Goodwillie. Shay is on assignment tonight. Governor Andy Beshear saying he still fears that number will rise over 100 tonight. We continue our team coverage. This is drone video from the aftermath of the tornado that ripped throughout Mayfield, Kentucky, from the historic courthouse right here to the major government annex buildings, all ripped apart or flattened.
See how we stuck up in here? Stop moving!
One of the major focuses last night, rescuing dozens of employees from the Mayfield Consumer Products candle factory. The roof collapsed with 110 workers inside. One woman, Kiana Parsons Perez, was trapped and narrated the frightening moments on Facebook Live. Unfortunately, a corrections officer at the Graves County Jail did not survive. He was supervising inmates on work release at the candle factory. Robert Daniels' sister said he started this new assignment 2 weeks ago.
They just said the building, when the tornado came through, the building collapsed.
The Graves County Jail said in a statement, "We completely evacuated the main jail. All the inmates that were housed in the main jail are safely tucked away in other county jails. The restricted custody center was spared. However, we did have a few inmates working at the candle factory. We also lost one of our staff members." Kentucky State Police are looking for one of the inmates Daniels was supervising. They say 44-year-old Francisco Starks was taken to Jackson Purchase Medical Center to be treated after that factory collapse. Once released, he walked away. Any tips, go to KSP at 1-800-222-5555. This afternoon, we talked with Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell about this disaster. We asked him about that collapsed candle factory and if there needs to be an investigation into why those people were still there.
I do think tornadoes are more dangerous at night.
And luckily, before that storm hit, Jedediah Randall and his wife Stephanie left within minutes of that candle factory being demolished. They were racing back home to their infant son. He was safe, but later found out that so many friends were trapped inside that factory.
Pregnant women, older people, young people, kids that ain't even lived their life yet.
The cleanup still continues with hopes of finding more in the rubble. More than 40 people have been rescued. And as we first told you overnight, emergency crews from Metro Louisville were on the road as early as 3 in the morning heading to Mayfield. Shay McAllister talks with some of those crews tonight on how they've been helping and aiding their fellow Kentuckians.
We're 200 miles from Louisville, but we have found connections to our home around every corner, including first responders who traveled here overnight.
And those tornadoes hit populated areas hard. Bowling Green, Kentucky is one of them. Judge Executive Mike Buchanan says over 500 homes and dozens of businesses have been destroyed. Our affiliate station in Bowling Green reports the Warren County coroner says so far at least 11 people have died as a result of those storms. WHAS 11's Isaiah Kim Martinez has more from Bowling Green.
Search and rescue efforts have paused as it's gotten dark and temperatures have dipped.
At least one person is dead and more than 40 people are out of their homes in Taylor County, Kentucky. Residents in Campbellsville took cover as the Bowling Green tornado came their way at 3:23 in the morning, and then it struck. WHAS 11's Bobby McSwine is there tonight.
This just one of the more than 50 homes destroyed here in Taylor County. The tornado has left people here devastated.
More on the breaking story we've been following today. The all clear has now been given in Lexington. But tonight, so many questions about a man who was arrested in body armor with guns coming out of the UK Medical Center today. The FBI and ATF at the scene after police say they also found possible explosives. Now, tonight we have team coverage for you at 6. Tyler Emery's live outside the suspect's home in Versailles, Kentucky, where there is a police presence. And Chris Williams is live in Lexington, picking up the story there with more on how Versailles plays into the quick action by UK police today. Chris?
And Doug, it was a heads-up call from Versailles police that may have played a major role in this thing wrapping up peacefully. And while things are settled down out here, they are picking up in Versailles, and that's where we find WHAS 11's Tyler Emery with that part of the story.
Hey Chris, yeah, we're here on Aberdeen Road in Versailles where you can see, I'll step out of the way, police are completely blocking off access to the street on both ends.
Breaking news, the top stories here at 6 from WHAS 11 News tonight. Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt. From afternoon severe storms to an item of interest discovered in the search for Crystal Rogers. We have a lot to get to for you tonight. But first, the breaking news from U of L's basketball program. The head coach suspended by the school today. A former assistant coach sentenced for extortion, and a recording of an explosive conversation between the two just released. We have team coverage from Sports Director Ken Spencer on Chris Mack's suspension. L. Smith was in federal court as the ex-assistant coach Dino Gaudio was sentenced. But first, that recording WHAS 11 News got from U of L late today. It is the conversation that led to Gaudio being federally charged for attempting to extort money from the university. Here's what it says.
Between me and you, dude, me and you could go tell Vince, hey Vince, Dino's, I don't care what you got, Dino's my guy. I'm gonna pay him for a year and a half. He could retire at 66, and I'm gonna take care of him. That's what we could do. And you know what? That's what we're gonna do. Or else, I'm going to f***ing John Carnes. I'm going to f***ing Tim Sullivan. I'm going to Billis, Vital, Frischillo, all those guys. So that's the way this is gonna go down, dude.
The actual recording there, Gaudio threatened to go to the NCAA and the news media, as you could see there, about alleged violations if he didn't get paid his salary for a year and a half. Coach Mack, who was the one who recorded that exchange. And late today, the university announcing it's suspending the coach for 6 games as well. Kent Spencer is here on the reason why and what the university said about it late this afternoon. Kent, thank you very much. Well, not long after that announcement, the former U of L assistant coach Dino Gaudio was sentenced in federal court. In the end, he gets a light sentence from the federal judge. WHAS 11's L. Smith was there covering what the judge said about this case, and his comments were very telling.
Third floor, we got the subject.
We walked right into it.
2 radio, we got the gun.
I could have gotten shot. I came pretty close to it, apparently. And that's a scary thing.
A chaotic scene at View at 3rd, an apartment building in downtown Louisville, where police responded to shots fired inside the building just after 7 tonight. They detained the shooter and then discovered a fire happening in that same building. Witnesses tell us this man walked around their building, shooting a gun and spraying a fire extinguisher on multiple floors. Nicholas Ray McClure opened his apartment door and was face to face with the man.
I immediately went outside of the apartment, shut it behind me, and just went straight at him. He sprayed it in my face, and then as soon as he was doing that, I turned my back, and he hit me on the back with the fire extinguisher.
And this is not LMPD's first time at the building. According to police data, they've responded here over 60 times this year to that block, from arson in January to drug possession and assault just this month.
But first, here at 5, this developing story in the aftermath. One houseboat after another up in flames, an inferno taking over several boats in this iced over marina in southern Indiana. The location Hoosier Hills Marina, east of Jasper, Indiana. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us at 5 o'clock. I'm Doug Prophet. You can see the firing scene right here behind me earlier today. It took 3 different fire departments to get this huge blaze under control. As you can imagine, tricky since those boats are right out there on the water in that marina. WHS 11 Southern Indiana reporter Elle Smith has been on the scene for several hours now. She joins us live with the latest from Patoka Lake in Indiana and what officials are saying tonight about the marina fire. Elle?
Right now, fire crews are on scene of a 2-alarm fire at a historic church on East Jacob Street near downtown Louisville. The building determined to be compromised shortly after firefighters got on scene. Right now, we're working to get more information on what caused the massive flames and what the control efforts are going to look like overnight. But first, LMPD officers back in riot gear tonight responding to a protest on River Road. Good evening, I'm Shay McAllister. Thanks for joining us on the night team. The officers deemed the protest an unlawful assembly after they say protesters were armed, blocking traffic and forcing drivers to turn around. Let's get right to John Charlton, who is live on River Road. John, what are you seeing there right now?
Well, Shay, I can tell you it's a much better, different scene here than it was literally just 20, 30 minutes ago.
Right now, you're taking a live look at Jefferson Square Park, the spot that has become the heart of the fight for social justice and reformation after police shot and killed Breonna Taylor on this day last year. Today, hundreds gathered in the park for a rally marking 1 year since her death. Speakers took the stage underneath that white tent, and the iconic mural that lived at that park for much of last summer was brought back last night for today's events. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shay McAllister. Thousands took to the streets of downtown Louisville today for a planned rally in Breonna Taylor's honor. The rally was at the heart of the events, marking 1 year since her death, but there were several others. And tonight we have team coverage, including John Charlton, who followed a variety of those events across the city today. But we want to start with Sanait Gebergedges, who has closely followed this case for almost a year now. Sanait, we know you spoke with Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, after the rally. What did he have to say?
Yeah, well, it was a very emotional conversation.
Breaking news this afternoon, 26-year-old Jefferson County Sheriff's Deputy Brandon Shirley is dead after an overnight shooting. Hello, I'm Kristen Goodwillie. Thanks for staying with us here at 12:30. Now, this morning, LMPD Police Chief Erica Shields calling it an ambush, vowing they will get the suspects. Right now, we go to Gabrielle Harmon with the latest details on the investigation. Now, Gabrielle, what does the scene look like now?
Kristen, it's still very much so an active scene out here.
Tonight at 5:30 from our Sky 11 drone today, coverage of the procession beginning from Southeast Christian Church at I-64 and Blankenbaker Parkway. This was just before 2 o'clock this afternoon. The beginning of the 11-mile trip heading to Cave Hill Cemetery to the west on I-64. The 8-mile-long police escort for Jefferson County Sheriff's Deputy Brandon Shirley, ambushed, gunned down 1 week ago tomorrow. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us at 5:30 as our coverage continues. I'm Doug Prophet. Powerful moments today at the service for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Deputy Brandon Shirley. He grew up in Fairdale, started his sheriff's career in 2019. Here at 5:30, our editors have put together this entire emotional day for you to see. It started at noon with the funeral and ended just after 3:30 at Cave Hill Cemetery. Brandon's friends, family, and those who knew him best describe his character and his passion for policing.
The minute he put on that uniform with you guys, or that EMT uniform, he was part of you. You were his family. He loved you guys.
Well, good evening. I'm Shay McAllister. New tonight, results from testing on Derby Day are in. Medina Spirit, the winner of the Kentucky Derby, now under investigation by the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission after a failed drug test. Bob Baffert calls it a complete injustice, but Churchill Downs says it won't be tolerated, banning the trainer from Churchill Downs. Well, Tyler Griever had a very early morning at the track, actually watching the horse practice, and then hearing from Baffert himself. Tyler, did he actually admit to using the drug in question?
No, Shay. I mean, he passionately denied any involvement with this. History, though, certainly could be on hold for him. That's because his Derby-winning horse in Medina Spirit tested positive for a drug called beta betamethasone.
Tyler, I know you said Baffert is ready to run his horse in the Preakness next weekend, but will he actually be allowed to?
It's a great question, Shay. The Maryland Jockey Club says they're going to review relevant facts and information, consulting with the Maryland Racing Commission.
All right, Tyler, thank you so much.
Of course.
Well, news of this failed test getting a lot of reaction today, including these strong words from trainer Graham Motion, who won the Kentucky Derby in 2011. He tweeted, "Our sport is, quote, an embarrassment. Perhaps we have to hit rock bottom before things get better." More now on the drug in question. It's a steroid called betamethasone, which sometimes is used to treat pain and inflammation in horses. The problem in this case, too much was used. Marty McGee with Daily Racing Form says the medication is allowed prior to a race and trainers commonly use it. But there are strict protocols around when it must be out of the horse's system leading up to a race, as it could give an unfair advantage. Was there an advantage in this case? Well, according to experts, it's hard to say.
Whether or not you can fairly say that this gave Medina Spirit an unfair advantage.
Well, just hours after this news came down, the gates opened at Churchill Downs for a full day of Sunday racing. Tom Lally is live at the track right now. And Tom, I think the big question for fans tonight, if Medina Spirit is disqualified, could that change the payouts from bets on Derby Day?
Yeah, the short answer is no. According to policy here at Churchill Downs,
Good evening, I'm Shay McAllister. We are watching major flooding across Louisville tonight. Multiple areas affected, from Preston Highway to Fagenbush Lane and, of course, all metro parks. So tonight, we have team coverage to get you the latest. First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine is tracking the rain, and Tyler Emery is covering the impact. Let's start tonight with Ben on what to expect in the coming hours.
Yeah, unfortunately, Shay, we've got some more scattered showers and a few thunderstorms on the way for this evening.
Now to the impact, multiple main roads submerged, vehicles stuck, officials with that familiar warning, turn around, don't drown. Let's get live to Tyler Emery, who's on River Road. Tyler, what are you seeing out there?
Hey there, Shay. Well, the Ohio River, it's easy to tell, is looking higher today.